When it comes to video games, I'd say that my preferred genre has always been whatever scratches my brain at that time. However, my all-time favorite genre has always been platformers. Whether it be Mario, Kirby, Hollow Knight, or A Hat in Time. However, my all-time favorite kind of platformers have always been the ones where it really makes you feel like, holy shit, we are going at Mach speed, I can't even see the areas around me, good God, tell my mother I loved her, talk to me, Jesus, boys! Especially if it's a 3D platformer. There's very few and far between, unfortunately, that meet those requirements because something tends to hold them back, whether that be the level being too short, the hazards are kind of bland, there's not enough space for the speed, there's plenty of things that can mess up that sort of thing. It takes really a keen eye to figure out how to make a really good speed 3D platformer. So let's go back to about a year ago. I'm scrolling through my YouTube feed when I came across a video entitled Spark the Electric Jester 3 demo. Now, this demo video alone was enough to make me want to buy the other two games and spend the equivalent of 2 days snow shoveling useless information like how to breathe out of my brain to fill it with much more useful information like what color Spark's shoes could have been. So let's take a step back and not so briefly discuss the history of Spark and its creator, Lake Feppard. Lake Feppard is the name of the company created and run by a single person, Felipe Ribeiro Daniluz. I hope I pronounced that right. In the early days of his game creation, he was known for making Sonic fan games such as Sonic Before the Sequel, After the Sequel, and Chrono Adventure. The first two Sonic games, Sonic Before the Sequel and After the Sequel, playing like a standard classic Sonic game, going level by level, having his basic moveset while also implementing some interesting power-ups. You may notice that this particular form, Beam Sonic, would later be used as reference to create Spark's design. Sonic Chrono Adventure, however, was very experimental in how it played. You started off with Sonic's basic moveset and had a very open map to try to explore, and once you did explore, you'd find that you can gain new power-ups to be able to help you unlock different areas, very similar to a Metroidvania-style game. You'll also notice that some of these power-ups happen to be very similar to the ones that I will show you guys later in the video with Spark 1. Now, Spark is part of a race known as Formies. Formies are the only race that I believe live on the planet Formie as well, which, coincidental for the name, Planet Formie. And usually they tend to come in multiple colors. They have tufts of hair on the sides of their head. They also tend to have antennas on the top of their head as well. They usually have a humanoid-looking body, so other than their face not having a nose, I believe, they just have, regular human body parts like I have here. Definitely don't have anything else other than normal human body parts. The antennas are an interesting part of it because apparently Lake Feppard had referenced in multiple Q&A streams as the games came out that he referenced ants while trying to create their design, which I find very interesting personally. In Spark's case, for his original design, he is yellow, sports a Jester hat he built himself, we'll touch on that soon, a red scarf, white gloves, and comically large red shoes. Note in this concept art for him as well, he appears to have antennas protruding from his head, which is good because they didn't really show those while he's wearing the hat, so I guess they're covered under there. Glad I'm not the only one with antennas. Wait, what? Cut that! We also make note that in the first game, it's mentioned a lot that Spark's not wearing any pants and he gets made fun of for it. However, in later games, other Formies are not wearing pants, so I guess he started a fashion trend? In terms of how the world works, it's very similar to Earth. There are modern cities with roads and cars packed in it. There are standard jobs like construction and fast food. There's a lot more, I'm sure, in terms of just like how the world runs, but this is what I have gauged so far from the information given. Now, in terms of the economy, it works very similarly as well, so people do jobs to be able to pay for food, housing, that sort of thing. Lake also mentioned that the Formies are a very progressive race, so there's just continuous construction shown throughout all three games that you'll notice while playing through them. They also are canonically godless, which I'm not sure what to do with this information, but Lake gave it to us when people asked about it in his Q&A stream for the third game, so we know that at least. They also have the internet, which is kind of wild. I assume it works similar to this internet in our world, so it really begs the question here. Do they have YouTube, and is there a Formie movie bro on there discussing how Formie Andrew Garfield is not nearly as good as Formie Tom Holland and Formie Tobey Maguire as Formie Spider-Man while wearing a Formie Marvel shirt? What? That wasn't hyper-specific, and I definitely did not need to say Formie that many times in 1 second. Continuing on. The first game begins with our homeboy Spark giving me an existential crisis by sulking over his misfortune. You'll see what I mean in a second. He got an electrical engineering degree, which as a side project, used those skills to create his Jester hat that somehow gave him electrical abilities. Don't ask me the mechanics of how that works, I have no fucking clue. Got a job maintaining low quality robots before being replaced by a robot. My man spent his blood, sweat, and tears on getting that degree, and his dreams were shattered. Shattered, I tell you! So that degree was a waste. He's probably in so much debt. Can't relate. Got a job as a circus performer before then being replaced again by a robot that looks just like him, which will later be given the creative name of Fark by Spark. Wow. Fake Spark. Fark. Genius. And then the game begins with him lamenting over the fact that he can't pay rent. How will I ever pay for my iffy electrical bill and for me ramen now? My life is falling apart. I'm just saying, justice for my man and his electric degree. So back to the depressed clown college dropout, he notices some robots acting strange when they start attacking people, and he's just nonchalantly like, alright, I guess I'll help. I got a penchant for violence suddenly. Which, by the way, the amount of just oddly humorous interactions in this first game is off the charts, and I love it. Like here with this robot named Romalo. So the game starts, and the first thing we'll discuss is Spark's moveset. Now, for the most part, his base moveset is very simple. He has momentum-based running, meaning he runs down a hill, he gains speed, he runs up any sort of incline, he slows down. Good? Makes sense? Cool. He has a single jump that can either be short or higher depending on how long you hold it, a basic 3-hit combo that can turn into a ranged attack as well if you hold down the attack button, and the Jester dash, which is a small boost forward that can be used while on the ground to either pick up speed or dodge attacks. A perfect dodge can be accomplished as well if timed properly. The speed combined with the combat, while simple, can be very satisfying. It really balances out the parts where you have to go fast compared to the platforming areas and those small bits where you have to slow down to relieve a couple robots of their breathing license. They revoked my license for having asthma! Speaking of combat, the Jester comes with a multitude of abilities that he can switch between by finding them located throughout the levels, sort of similar to a pink marshmallow I know. The abilities are as follows: Wind, Gravity, Bat, Board, Sword, Cool, Fire, Edgy, Hammer, Archer, Magical, Knight, and Mage. Whew, that was a mouthful. I will try to be as brief as possible with each ability as there are quite a few. Wind is mostly a movement power, allowing you to Jester dash in the air and gives you 2 extra jumps and the ability to slowly float to extend your reach. The attack gives you a range slash, however it knocks you back, and the charge attack doesn't really do anything except risk knocking you into lava or off a cliff. Gravity allows you to fly for a short period, and your attack becomes essentially a tackle that can be shot. It can be aimed up, down, left, or right. There is no charge attack for that one. Bat gives you a small area of effect attack and knocks down your basic attack to 2 hits, but you do a spin ability now while in the air, which is still good to hit a good chunk of damage on enemies. Board changes the run to surfing on a hoverboard, is also a small area of effect attack and movement ability that allows Spark to move faster on the ground. Again, no charge ability. Sword is a continuous attack that gives you a small range slash that you can aim upward. If you attack down, you produce 2 energy balls that you can knock forward or up with a basic attack. Charged ability allows you to jump higher and or move faster for a short period. Cool gives you an icy spin move that will continually go if you rapidly tap the attack button. His movement speed is faster and he skates rather than runs. His jump animation also changes. If he jumps and attacks, it'll produce a small snowflake. Charge attack launches 3 icicles at full charge. Fire produces a explosive kick that can be aimed up and down. Holding attack will turn him into a flamethrower. If he attacks long enough, he produces a stronger kick either up or down. Edgy is essentially a ninja, allows extra jump, can Jester dash in the air, charge attack produces kunai, obviously supposed to look like Shadow the Hedgehog. Hammer is a hammer, you know what it does. Can produce rocks from smashing ground that can be knocked forward, has a spin attack in the air, allows double jump, notable that when energy meter is full, can produce a volcano, which is fucking sick. Archer can shoot 4 arrows up, forward, or down, charging allows to shoot explosive arrows. Magical is the Star Rod from Kirby, running animation changes, can dash in the air, charge attack and shoot a laser that will rival Goku. Knight has a farther range javelin melee, can aim upward to produce a range slash, charge attack, a charge forward, not afraid to stick the javelin where the sun doesn't shine. Finally, Mage gives you 3 ranged mage shots, definitely rivals Goku with charged Kamehameha, especially with fully charged energy bar, is a magician on weekends. My favorite abilities are all of them except Bat. Fuck the Bat. Okay, let me just catch my breath for a second here. Some abilities become more useful in certain levels, like Fire, allowing this lava section to be useless, which is a nice advantage for people who experiment like myself. Bosses for this game are fucking sick. Here's some examples like this, and this, and this, and especially this. There are 16 stages in total: Flower Mountain City, Flower Mountain Canyon, Network Coast, Smog Sewer, Smog City, Sunset Heights, Litoria Bay, Kerana Forest, Mare Desert, Luna Base, Caria Valley, Turbulence Plains, Rainal Complex, Sunfire Forest, Magarath Fleet, and Magarath Fortress. My personal favorites are Kerana Forest because of mushrooms, Luna Base because of the sick-ass beat, and the use of Lava Shield, and Magarath Fleet. To summarize the story of this fine game, you run into multiple corrupted robots infected from the Freon virus, most of which are themed for whatever task they were built for originally that you either kill or help, like this one, and Romalo. We fucking love Romalo in this household. Just look at him, what a beautiful boy. I just want to hug this little shit. Freon is the big bad guy, and I love his design greatly. His whole goal is to free all robots from their chains by corrupting them and having them create violent acts in the name of creating a robot utopia. How original. He's held up at what is known as Project Magarath, which was built by a formie named Dr. Stuart Armstrong. Essentially, Project Magarath is a giant computer tower that created all AI in this world, so super convenient for a murderous robot to use to create a virus. So Fark and Spark have one last fight, which, let me tell you, the later bosses are like my last relationship. Extremely difficult and leave me wanting to take many, many drugs! Okay, maybe not that bad, but they are hard. Satisfying though. Fark also pulls out this super spear, which turns him into Super Fark for the second half of the fight. This is important because in the final fight that goes to space, Fark throws the spear to Spark, so now you get Super Spark and kick this tin can's ass. Boss defeated, world saved, bada bing, bada boom. Final thing about this first game though, you get a non-canon mode where you play as Fark, difference being no Jester powers. Instead of dodging, he has a block that you have to time properly, some new corrupted bosses that sort of insinuate the virus is trying to take over Fark, and I love these bosses. Oh my god, look at that. Let me tell you, it freaked me out at first, and it was really unexpected, and that's what I needed in my cartoony speed game. The final boss also changes, and then again, bada bing, bada boom, game complete. So that's pretty much it for the game. There are some other unlockables in there, but I didn't really get to that, so oh well. Nonetheless, this game is jam-packed with content, which just proves that Lake had such a passion for the character, even though it was his only first game. Well, first original game at least. If I'm incorrect on that, please let me know, because this is all the information I have about Lake so far. If you are way more of a fan than I am about this, then yeah, please correct me on that. But nonetheless, you may be wondering to yourself why I went so in-depth with this first game. Listen up, you little shit. Okay? It's going to make it 10 times easier discussing the other games if I go into this much detail in the first game, okay? Alright. Now, don't question me again on this, alright? Or I will come for you. I will come for your house. I will burn your house. Okay. Anyways, thank you all for watching this first video. If I do make this just a part 1, we'll see based off of how I feel after editing it. Nonetheless, I will see you guys in the next video.